Hello and welcome to a unbelievable conversation that I'm about to embark on with the one and only Dr. Misty Ladd, who is a best-selling author of the book Breaking and Entering. And it's all about unlocking your path to power through mentorship. Misty, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Of course, I'm excited for you to be here because your title is just so bold. Okay, and we're just going to jump right in. Your title is Breaking and Entering. And when most people think of breaking and entering, that is a force to be reckoned with, often something that people would tell their kids not to do. But you have now taken that phrase and turned it into something about power within mentorship. So, how did you decide on this title to be so bold?
Well, my first official mentor was a retired police chief who was the father of forensic locksmithing. So he was actually the first officer in the Chicago PD that could testified in court that said this tool mark, like this screwdriver, made this particular mark. Therefore, this person is guilty. And so he has, tons of resources. So whenever I thought of the book and thought of mentoring, I wanted to have something tied to him. And so that's he also collected doorknobs and locks. So it was just twofold that we always talk about breaking into show business, breaking into the business world. And so I just thought the two of those things aligned. And I have a 30-year career in the criminal justice field. So it kind of all just lined up together.
I love that. I don't think I've heard all of that story. I definitely know bits and pieces of it, but that's beautiful. So, talk to me about this. Why decide to write a book? What was the reason that you, with your career and all your experience and all your mentors, what was the reason that you said, "Hey, I'm going to write this book"?
Well, I mean, all the way from whenever I first met um, my first mentor, I had wanted to do something to give back to him. He had passed away. I've had just a phenomenal opportunity to have amazing mentors. And maybe everybody thinks their mentors are the best, but I just think either I'm lucky or I'm blessed, however you want to count it. But my mentors have just been people that things that are movies are made up, right? I mean, the types of things that my mentors do are things that people make movies about. So it's not just ordinary people, which ordinary mentors are fine. I'm not trying to say you have to get a superhero as a mentor, but I'm just saying mine have been. And so I just wanted to do something to give back to them. And I'm always, when I tell these stories about my mentors, like my students and business people and just, strangers I meet, because I'm an extrovert, so I talk to people in the grocery line, right? And so, and when I talk to people, they're like, I cannot believe that happened. I cannot believe that happened. And so I thought I just wanted to put it in a form that I could share with people. And, when you get a little older in life, you think, what are you going to leave behind? How are you going? Who's going to tell these stories when you're gone? My daughter's an introvert, so she's not going to keep these going
Yeah.
once I'm gone. And so, anyway, I just had wanted to write a book for a long time, but I always had so many things going that I just put it to the back because it was for me and for myself, and I would always put myself last. So I would put other people's projects, other work things, other deadlines ahead of me. And so I just always said I would write a book and started a million folders about this is going to go in the book and this is going to go in the book. And when it came time, I couldn't find any of those folders.
Yeah. I Now that the book's done, I'm jumping kind of out of order of this process, but now that the book's done, it's out. Do you feel that you achieved the goal of making your mentors proud and being able to give back in a way that you feel really good about?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like not only did I pay honor, to those who poured into me, but I've also shared those examples so that other people get to have my incredible mentors without ever having to meet them. So it's really a neat gift to give other people, strangers, students, people alike,
Yeah.
enemies. I don't care who reads it. It's
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
good.
Okay, so walk me through this process, okay? You obviously work with us in Big Idea to Bestseller, and I want to know from you is what was maybe your favorite part of the process of creating a best-selling book?
I think my most favorite part is just the community. Um, the the
And I
can
think
you
we have a little technical difficulties, so let's pause for a sec. Misty, I think your volume went out for a sec. And we're back to recording, and it appears that the technical difficulty was on my end. Actually, my computer automatically switched my output. So, sorry about that last 30 seconds, everybody. But you know what? Shit happens. This is real life, and we're gonna keep rocking and rolling here, Misty. So, I didn't hear what you just said in response to my question. So please enlighten us with what you were just saying about your favorite part of the process.
Yeah. So my favorite part of the process was twofold, I think. It was the structure, because, I feel like the reason people like, the first chapter of my book is, asking for help. And I feel like even myself, having written a chapter, people don't ask for help because they think, well, I can do that myself. And you can do a lot of things yourself. But one of the things I said, if you didn't do it in the pandemic, then it's not going to get done, right? If you didn't clean your garage out in the pandemic, stop saying someday you're going to clean your garage out because you're not ever, right? So if you didn't write a book during the pandemic, then you're not going to write a book on your own, and you need to seek the help. So I loved the structure of how you set up the course because I never felt like I didn't know what the next step was or that I was going to fall at any part of it. And then, of course, my next favorite part was the community. Like I have people that I mean, I'm friends with that I still talk to, that we still Zoom, bi-weekly that, I've taken processes that, Jen Mott does at her school and I do them at my school now. And so, I mean, just great things like that. The community, you and your staff. I mean, I just had a blast. I just had a blast.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that, and I hope that that's helpful for everyone else who's thinking about writing a book. And you mentioned the power of the ask, right? And you talk about this in your book as well. Let's dig into that a little bit more. Why why are people so afraid to ask? Is it because they don't know what to ask for, or is it because they're more afraid of the answer being no?
I think a it's they don't know what to ask because they haven't spent enough time figuring out what they really want. They just kind of are flying through the motions. B, they're afraid it may be no, but a lot of people are afraid it's going to be yes, and so there's going to be work involved, right? You don't want to ask because you may have to clean your room, right? You may have to mow the lawn. Like you don't want to ask for $10 from your parents, right? Because there may be something involved in it. So I think people are reluctant because, and also they're afraid that somebody they look up to will think it's a dumb question.
Mm,
I mean, they're just afraid that if they ask for help or they ask a question or they ask for you to take time with them, because everybody knows time now is the most valuable asset we have. I mean, that's everybody's, a lot of people would rather just ask for money than to ask for 10 minutes of someone's time. And
right.
so, but the thing is, people are so honored. I haven't found anybody. I'm a member of an organization that has 55,000 members worldwide. And I've been a member of it since 2007. I have not ever once reached out to anybody across the world. And I say, hey, I'm a member of this organization and I have these three designations. Will you help me? And the answer inevitably has been yes. So people love to help other people, but you just have to um, ask.
How we're going to go down this rabbit hole because this is a very powerful concept when it comes to mentorship, and especially when it comes to writing your book, right?
Right.
For you mentioned that you're part of this organization, and I don't know if you meant to say this or not, but you say I'm part of this in your outreach. I'm part of this organization. Are you willing to help? How important is it to create some form of common ground leading up to that said ask?
Yeah, most definitely. You've got to find the people that either are like you, want to be like you, have been like you, or want to warn you against being like you to change you. So you've got to find those people, whatever you're trying to do. If you're trying to change, you got to find people who've changed or people who are the change you want to be.
Yeah.
So you've got to find the people that you're trying to connect with. You've got to have something in common with.
Yeah, I loved what you said right there. I don't know if you can repeat all of it, but I'm gonna put that back on replay, and I think I'm gonna add a beat to it because it was just like the people like you, the people that want to be you, the people that you don't want, whatever it was. That was gold. I love that. I got a little distracted because it was such a fuego statement there, Misty. But when you ask people, the next question that I know a lot of people have when it comes to mentorship, when it comes to getting help is, well, how do I ask in a way where it's not, where I'm just not going to, it doesn't seem like I'm just taking? Or how do I ask in a way that doesn't make me seem like an asshole, right? Like, how do I appropriately ask, and what is appropriate to ask for? And so I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on that as someone who has a lot of experience in this space, both asking for help and being asked for help.
Yeah, I think, a long time ago, everybody used to say there's no stupid questions. You can always, I tell my students now in the times we're living in, there are stupid questions, right? If you can Google it yourself, you should not be asking a mentor, right? That's a waste of time. Don't waste my time learning something that you can Google. I mean, that's just irresponsible right now with your time. It sets a precedence of, now I know you're just going to waste my time and I'm not really going to take this very serious. The other thing is, if you go to a mentor with a set of deliverables and what you expect to do for them too. So it should be, that's, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I had a coach in football and he was my mentor. No, he was a coach. You were a player. That's a different dynamic. Well, I had a really good teacher that was a mentor. No, they were a teacher, you were a student. That's a different dynamic. A mentor
Mm,
is someone you're learning something from and you're giving back to them. It's a two-way street. So, you should be, if they ask you, to go mow the lawn, and mow it in a diamond pattern like they do at St. Augusta golf course, then your response and how you're paying them back is, you're going to figure out how to do that. You're going to show them pictures. You're going to do it in the time that they suggest you do it.
yeah.
So your response back to them is the actual growing, is the actual surprising them.
Okay, I like this. I'm gonna go one more here, and then I wanna come back to your experience. The teachers and the coaches, right? That is, I believe, to be true, right? They're the coach, you're the player. I think it's like one of those, like, if this is true, then that's true, but if this is true, that doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Right,
But a
exactly.
coach and teacher can be a mentor,
That is true.
but that shifts the dynamic. So teachers are not automatically mentors, and mentors are
Right.
not automatically teachers, but a teacher can be a mentor should the relationship go that way and it's
Sure.
appropriate.
Of course, especially if, like a student wants to be a teacher, right? So they become a teacher's aide. So see, that's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
You're showing me how to teach now. I want to learn from you because I want to become a teacher. What do you know that I'm going to know need to know once I get to college? So see, that's a different
Yeah.
thing. You're now their mentor situation.
And I think back to like all of my mentors, and the thing I want to make note of for everyone that's listening here is the exchange doesn't have to be equal in your mind. The
Right.
exchange has to be valuable to both people.
That's
And
true.
that is the mindset shift that I think, from what you were saying, it kind of made me think about that really clearly. That's the mindset shift we need to have when we approach mentors and when we think about it is, you don't have to be able to give them as much as they give you. You just have to be able to do something that is of value to them to want to help you, because mentors are often going to be able to give you more than you can give them initially, hence why you're going to them for some form of mentorship. So I love this, and we could talk about this all day long, but I want to segue to this. You're writing this book, okay? This book has meaning, it has passion, it has purpose, it has value. Tell me a little bit about your launch experience, what happened to you leading up to the launch. I know there were some pretty big, like, holy crap moments that kind of came into your life. So walk me through a couple of those awesome things that happened for you.
Well, I don't know if other people have this, but sometimes I tend to procrastinate, and do other your clients tend to procrastinate. So you have everything set up. You're great about hyping us up. We're going to meet these deadlines. Except I kept letting other things push ahead of me. I have school deadlines. I have other obligations, family stuff, health stuff, and so we came to a point where we were on a Zoom call, and he just basically looked in my eyes over the Wi-Fi and said, "You know what? If you don't do XYZ this week," and it was so dramatic. I think I had 4,000 words. And it was like, if you don't have 24,000 by next week and have an editor, you're not going to make your launch party, which I'd already set it for my birthday in New Orleans. And so you're like, he's like, you're not going to make it. And I mean, that's what a mentor does. Not, hey, you could do better, or, maybe you should think about changing. I mean, it's just straight up, this is hard news, but you're not going to make it. I have the experience. And I know how many hurdles you're going to have to go through, how many, this person makes you wait this long, which backs it all the way up. And so, I mean, I literally just spent 4 days over a 4-day weekend and literally wrote 20,000 words and did what you said and contacted the, the 4 editors and had it going. And so that was, I think, the first, really, really death or dying kind of, we've got to get it or it's not going to make it. And then I'm teeing up for the launch and doing all the things, crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's that you have set up for us, which, I mean, it's great not to have to think about that when you're doing other things. You have it all set up so we can just follow. You have the recommendations, you have the different, how people are different for other people. So it's not just, hey, we like this person, so you should pick this person. It's, hey, we have a whole bunch of options. So if you like this type of person, go this way. If you like that type of person, go that way. So it really worked out well for me. And so the next aha was, I started talking about, hey, you teach us to start talking about, I'm writing a book. And so I started talking about writing a book. And I was talking to one of my ex-clients, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm writing a book. And I was like, so, once I get done, I'm waiting for a next project. So how are you ready to sign up for a big project? And he says, yes, I am. How much would it cost you to do this project? And I'm like, $10,000. And he's like, sold, meet you at the bank. And so I didn't even finish the book before it started becoming profitable to me. So it was pretty amazing. People really listen to you, even though I have the doctorate, I have the other designations, I have a lot of other things, and the 30-year career. But writing a book is something that I don't know what percentage, you're the book guy, that so many percentage of the world will never do. Right. So it seems unattainable to so many people, and they're really impressed. They're really impressed once you get your book completed.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, you had so many. I remember the deadlines, and I think one of the coolest things was you had set your launch date so early in the process because you're like, I'm doing it by my birthday. There's no excuses. There's no other option. Like, this is it. And I remember this vividly because you were in our essentials program, and we're on the phone and we're on Zoom and we're going through all the deadlines, and I'm like, if you want this, you have to get this done by here. Like, otherwise you don't get to have a book on your launch day. Now, obviously there's always ways to work around it, but you did such a great job of committing to yourself in this process and trusting our system, and it worked out. And you were profitable before the book came out. You had an awesome launch. You celebrated the crap out of it in New Orleans. Like, it was amazing for you. So I'm really proud of you. And I know this book is helping a lot of amazing people. And so I just want to ask you, Misty, as we kind of wrap up here, is how can people learn from you or be mentored by you and connect with you as they listen to this interview?
Yeah, the best place to reach out to me is at LinkedIn. So if you just search for Dr. Misty Ladd on LinkedIn, I think it's there's a shortcut, but um,
I got you in the back of the book. You got
yeah,
a link directly to your LinkedIn. So LinkedIn,
yeah,
Dr. Misty Ladd is the best place.
yeah. LinkedIn, Dr. Misty Ladd is the best place.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, Misty, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I've enjoyed this conversation a lot, both the book stuff, but also talking about mentorship. I think it's a very interesting topic, especially the asking. And so what I love to do for at the end of every episode is I like to give the audience a challenge. And so my challenge to everyone that's listening to this right here, right now is I'm going to challenge you to ask something of someone for yourself. Okay? we're going to tap into Dr. Misty Ladd's expertise, and we're going to focus on the power of the ask. So now that you've listened to this, I want you to muster up the courage. For some of you, this will be easy. For some of you, this will be gut-wrenchingly difficult. And I want you to make an ask, whether that's an ask of Misty, an ask of me, an ask of your family, an ask of somebody for something. And I want you to just practice making your ask. But that's what I got for you today, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.